Well, the most important thing to remember to me about genetic engineered plants is that the major companies are all chemical companies. This technology is basically about selling more chemicals. 80% of all genetically engineered crops out there, a little more than 80%, are designed to withstand herbicides. So you can, instead of having to be careful with your weed-killing chemicals, you can now aerial spray it or mass spray it over your soy or over, your corn. Very good for Monsanto, DuPont, Syngenta, Bayer and Dow, the major companies. They're selling more of their chemicals because they are chemical companies. That's what they do. And so 150 million more pounds of herbicide each year in the United States are sprayed because of GMOs. And what we've seen now is predictable. With 150 million more pounds of Roundup being poured on our crops, on our croplands every year, weeds are becoming resistant to Roundup. Just like antibiotics. You give the population too many antibiotics, you get bacteria and disease agents that are resistant to it. Weeds, you can't kill them with Roundup anymore. So this year, Dow Chemical is coming up with 2,4-D resistant corn. 2,4-D is a very powerful herbicide that was an element of Agent Orange that we used in Vietnam. They're going up, that's a higher level, more pathogenous, more dangerous, more toxic herbicide. Well, they need it now because the weeds aren't being killed with Roundup. So they're going to have corn where you can spray 2,4-D. Monsanto this year is going to try and introduce dicamba-resistant soy. Dicamba is a very toxic herbicide, very toxic weed killer. So what's going to happen 5 years from now? Well, we're going to have crops that are resistant to Roundup, resistant to 2,4-D, and resistant to dicamba. And we're going to be using so much more of that that the weeds will then become resistant to them, and you won't be able to kill the weeds with anything. You're going to have super weeds that you won't be able to kill them with even the most toxic weed killers. And meanwhile, the companies will have made billions of dollars in selling more and more of these chemicals, but it's planned obsolescence. None of them will be effective, like antibiotics. That is the marketing plan of genetic engineering. So you see a very, very important conflict here. Are we going to go the organic route, non-GMO, and have less and less chemicals, less and less impact on our farms, our farmers, our air, our personal health? I mean, we know these chemicals are carcinogens and many other problems. Or we're going to see more and more of the industrial chemical agribusiness companies being able to sell more and more of their chemicals and douse our land, and trying to spread this internationally, sell more and more of their chemicals. That's really what biotechnology is about. Behind all the rhetoric, behind all of the saving the world, and that's really what we're seeing. That's the actual reality. Well, I was brought up by European grandparents. My father died when I was very young. When you look at the whole food thing, you realize, as my friend Wendell Berry says, that, and my grandmother believed this, that being a woman who was religious, and she believed that, we were, to live, we have to, kill and use nature. You have to break the body and blood, if you will, of the natural world for us to survive. And I think that what they believed is, if you did it skillfully, and if you did it reverently, and if you did it lovingly, that it was sort of a sacrament for her. And I think I always, I took that in, I think, as a boy. To me, it's I love to eat. It's a ritual, and we do it. If we do it that way, to me, it has a sacramental feeling to it. And I think it's really important for America, which has gotten so addicted to fast food, this sort of one-night stand. You're eating your burger, you don't care where it came from, you don't care where it's going. For us to re-understand the mystery and the skill that's involved in food, I think it would restore a lot of humanity to our culture. And I learned that from my grandmother.